right now, but as the pyro flies into the air on the far side of this ground, Villa Park, we await the teams coming out, and there's expectation among Villa fans these days. They're fourth in the table. They have Ollie Watkins absolutely flying into double figures for goals, into double figures for assists as well. There's a lot of talk about Ivan Toney maybe claiming a place in the England squad for the Euros. Ollie Watkins' form this season surely cannot be overlooked. Let me tell you, Talksport's Andy Townsend played for both Chelsea and for Aston Villa. He's on Drive tomorrow from 4 with Andy Goldstein on Talksport, when no doubt they'll be looking back at these two FA Cup fourth round replays that are ongoing on the Talksport network tonight. Talksport is out at the Super Bowl as well in Nevada. We've got it live Sunday night from 10:30 p.m. Current champions Kansas City Chiefs take on the San Francisco 49ers. We have got it Sunday night live on Talksport. Super Bowl's great, but it's not quite the FA Cup, is it? Let's face it, all these fans want the teams they're supporting to win the FA Cup. Chelsea fans I was speaking to on the train on the way up, some of whom really wanted Raheem Sterling dropped tonight, and they've got their wish. They are desperate to win silverware. As the teams make their way onto the fields, Ben Chilwell leading out Chelsea, John McGinn leading out Aston Villa. These two have got history in the greatest domestic cup competition in the world. Aston Villa have won it 7 times. Chelsea have won it 8 times. One of them is going out tonight live on Talksport with former England captain Stuart Pearce alongside your commentator Jim Proudfoot.
Well, if both of these clubs can boast an illustrious history in the competition, those histories vary from ancient to recent. Chelsea's success largely been in the last generation, and they played in 5 of the last 7 FA Cup finals. Villa have only won the thing once in 102 years, and there'll be very few of the loyal fans on the Hold End tonight who will remember their last triumph back in 1957, with Chelsea one of the teams to have beaten them in the final since then. So much has changed since, of course. In fact, so much has changed since they were last here, just 15 months ago. On that occasion, Steven Gerrard suffered what turned out to be his last home defeat in charge. Graham Potter's side won a 5th successive game to add more gloss to his honeymoon period and take his team into the top 4. Their return to Villa Park could hardly be more different. Whilst Villa themselves are now in the top 4, the pressure mounts on the man who replaced Potter. This season now wholly dependent on cup success. And this is how the two teams line up for this replay tonight, with Leeds awaiting the winner. It's Martinez in goal for Villa, Cash, Diego Carlos, Longley and Alex Moreno, Douglas Luiz and Kamara, Bailey, Tielemans and McGinn, and Watkins up front. And the bench, Pau Torres, Chambers, Diaby, Zaniolo, Ramsey, Irubinum, Kellyman, and goalkeepers Olsen and Wright. Stuart, what are your thoughts on that Aston Villa team?
Well, listen, they've got a consistency about what they do. There's plenty of energy in the team, plenty of legs in the team. They've got a top quality centre forward that loves galloping into the channels, and you know, you've got to fancy them as odds-on favourites here in this one, Jim.
Chelsea making 3 changes. Thiago Silva and Kunku and Sterling all on the bench. Badiashile, Madueke and Jackson are in. It's Petrovic in goal, Gusto Disasi, Badiashile and Chilwell, Fernandes and Caicedo, Madueke, Gallagher and Palmer, and Jackson up front. And on the Chelsea bench, Silva, Sterling, Mudryk, Chukwuemeka and Kunku, Gilchrist and Samuel Smith, with goalkeepers Bettinelli and Bergstrom.
Yeah, as I say, very, very young and reasonably inexperienced Chelsea side, albeit costing a lot of money. I'm uncertain, Jim, at the heart of their back line whether the two in Badiashile and Disasi are actually good enough to deal with Watkins and runners from the midfield.
Just wonder whether there's a case, not tonight necessarily, but long term, to go with a back 3 in Chelsea.
Well, if you're talking about young players with experience and probably better years ahead of them, to have an old head alongside them, right in the middle of them, just to coach them through it, seems the obvious way forward, and it makes them a lot stronger through the spine of their team.
Referee tonight, Tom Bramall. Potential omen for Chelsea. He was the official who took charge of the Blues' 3rd round win over Preston. Villa won at Middlesbrough on the same day to ease a dreadful record that they've had in the FA Cup in recent years. That win at Middlesbrough, their first FA Cup success since they beat Wycombe back in 2016. Will they be able to knock another Premier League side out tonight here at Villa Park? We're underway. Villa claret and blue and white shorts, playing through the intensity of a Chelsea press. Kamara getting the ball out towards the right-hand side for Matty Cash. Ezri Konsa is going to be a big miss for Aston Villa, not just tonight, but over the next month or so. He's had an outstanding 18 months. Chelsea worked the ball for Palmer. Started on the right-hand side with Madueke on the left, just buzzing around. Now it's chipped over the tops by Moreno, and McGinn will chase after it here. Just a little shove, it seemed, on Moise Caicedo. Got the ball inside the penalty area. The header from Bailey hit Chilwell. Villa then claim a free kick on Cash. Referees let plenty go in these early stages, and Gallagher's going to be able to bring it away.
Well, fresh from that press conference saying that Wolves wanted it a little bit more than them. McGinn certainly wanted it more than anybody and made that ball his own. Just looking at the lineup of Chelsea's front three, I was fully expecting Jackson to be leading the line. He seems to be on the left-hand side with Palmer down the middle and Madueke on the right-hand side, Jim.
Just a little variation on the theme, trying to get the best out of the resources available. Jackson coming into tonight with only one goal in 17 games for club and country, which was in the game against Sheffield United. Ball back with Martinez, away to our right-hand side. Emi Martinez, who won the FA Cup in 2020, beating Chelsea in the final in his Arsenal days. And he'll play the ball forward, down towards the right-hand side for Cash. Cash trying to get it between the lines. Badiashile came to meet it but didn't get there. Now it'll be flicked down towards McGinn again on the edge of the penalty area. McGinn just stumbling. Alex Moreno made a good run. He's pulled it back for Douglas Luiz. Out of the right-hand side of the area for Cash. Cash on his left foot, chipping it in. It's Moreno, diving header from him, when a left-footed volley towards goal would surely have been a more effective option. Chelsea can half clear. It'll be picked up by McGinn on this near touchline and work back for Douglas Luiz. But already signs of an Achilles heel at the back for Chelsea.
No doubt about that. Gusto's gone inside with McGinn to deal with him, leaving Disasi sort of one-on-one with Watkins, and they got pulled around as a back four, leaving Moreno at the far post. I think you try to head back to Watkins, as you rightly say. A chest and a volley was the best option.
Now Douglas Luiz can't find Alex Moreno. There's at times been a very big gap between the Chelsea centre-halves and everybody else that Villa have been able to exploit. Chelsea trying to get the full-backs forward, Chilwell and Gusto, and then Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo finding themselves a long way ahead of Disasi and Badiashile. Villa work it forward again. Tielemans in the number 10 role. Bailey couldn't find him, and he goes out of play for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. Plenty for Pochettino to consider in the opening 3.5 minutes, but it is still 0-0 here on Talksport. Cracker for you shaping up on Talksport 2. Forest 1, Bristol City 1. Divock Origi giving Forest the lead. Jason Knight has equalised for Bristol City. That lead lasted barely 5 minutes, and it's live for you right now over on Talksport 2. As Chelsea bring the ball forward. 0-0 when the two sides met in the original game 10 days ago. But Chelsea haven't scored in any of their last 3 games against Aston Villa. Conor Gallagher finding Chilwell, who will be able to play the ball forward down the left-hand side. Jackson getting involved. Gallagher's got the ball at his feet, but the referee has spotted a foul and has given a free kick Villa's way. There's Leon Bailey, the player that ended up on the deck. Jackson just pulling his right arm back. And it's an easy decision for Tom Bramwell. Free kick to Villa, 5 gone, 0-0.
Yeah, I can see McGinn just playing in front of us on the left-hand side of Aston Villa. He's just trying to pull Gusto, the right-back, out of position, just to try and free things up, I think, for Moreno to get forward, or alternatively draw him out of a zone, which will open up a channel for Watkins to run into.
Big score at Chelsea last season, John McGinn. He's won a Scottish Cup in his career, in his time with Hibs. The ball is worked down the touchline. And now comes Georgi Petrovic. Long clearance from him. Flicked down by Palmer, who's really been one of the bright spots of Chelsea's season. And Pochettino throws his arms up in the air in dismay as Chelsea lose possession, but they then get it back with a throw that is very quickly taken over on the far touchline by Chilwell. Caicedo with a lovely turn in the midfield when it looked for all of the world he was going to lose it to Douglas Luiz. And Gusto can bring it forward, out towards the right-hand side for Madueke. Madueke on the right-hand side of the penalty area, stabbed towards goal by Palmer on the stretch, and he just couldn't get hold of it, and it trickles through for Martinez.
Yeah, good play by Madueke there. Just drove, and then he opened his body out, slid it across the face of goal, and Cole Palmer just on the stretch, couldn't get enough on it, trying to divert it goalward.
We'll keep you up to date with events in all of the games tonight, including 4 in the Scottish Premiership, of which the one at St Mirren has been put back for half an hour. The Dundee players stuck in traffic getting to Paisley tonight, so that's an 8:15 kickoff. It's goalless in the 2 that got underway at 7:45. Hibs against Celtic at 8 o'clock, and that's still 0-0 in the early stages. 1-1 at Forest and 0-0 here. We played 6 minutes, and Ben Chilwell will bring the ball forward down the Chelsea left, and then Arca ball down towards Gusto. Gusto's control not the best, got away with it. He took the pace out of it, and it just limped towards the touchline where he was able to keep it in. Chelsea retaining possession. Zassi finding Badiashile. Now to be played into the centre circle for Caicedo. Long diagonal from him, which Chilwell can take into his stride. Spaced up by Matty Cash on the edge of the area. Good run by Enzo Fernandez. Bailey back defending with him. It's a good turn though from Fernandez. And Bailey forced to check back and concede the first corner of the night.
Yeah, Chelsea's best phase of the game there. Played out extremely well from the back line. Enzo getting on the ball, switch of play. And from there forcing a corner in that left-hand side of Chelsea's attack.
So the first corner of the night coming with 7 minutes on the clock. Travelling Chelsea supporters in a decent voice away to our left. It's going to be an away swinging corner, hitting very deep. Headed away initially by Bailey, back in the fray from Jackson. A good save, although from an offside position. The header came in. Martinez reacted quickly. We've been disappointed had that beaten him, but stuck his hands up very quickly to ensure that it didn't go past him. Villa will try and break quickly themselves now. And Petrovic comes out to sweep up and volleys the ball out of play for a throw. Watkins and the ball girl on this near side, both alive to the possibility of Petrovic being a long way outside his penalty area, and a quick throw might cause problems. There was nothing on, and so Villa allow everybody to push upfield, and Alex Moreno will stand with the ball in his hand, waiting to restart play.
That's the third time Villa have played that ball in that channel, just in front of us, in old money, inside left channel, and just drawing Gusto out of position there. And Disasi's got to make sure he covers that area and doesn't let Watkins get first contact on the ball and set up an attack.
Matty Cash, the Polish international, on the right-hand side for the Villa. Back it goes through to the heart of the defence for Diego Carlos. McGinn cleverly let that one run. Gusto didn't know whether to stick or twist and did very well then to recover. It was a pacey recovery run that stopped an Alex Moreno cross finding its target. Throw taken quickly. Douglas Luiz, McGinn. Moreno couldn't get there, and Caicedo then fouled by the Aston Villa captain to give Chelsea a free kick just outside their own penalty area. 9 minutes gone. Villa will be the happier with the start that has been made, although Chelsea have made a couple of inroads inside the Villa penalty area. You're listening to Villa against Chelsea in the FA Cup on Talksport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. 18 plus. Please drink responsibly. 1-1 at Forest, 0-0 here at Villa. That Forest game live for you right now over on Talksport 2 with Badiashile, the centre half wearing 5, finding Fernandez now towards Axel Disasi, and he can come forward towards halfway, just draws McGinn towards him and flicks it to his right hand side for Gusto. Gusto back for Noni Madueke, the former PSV man, the England under-21 international. Back to Caicedo to Disasi, and Disasi plays the ball through the centre circle out towards Badiashile, and now to Chilwell, the oldest player in the Chelsea side tonight at the princely age of 27. 6 of the Chelsea starters, 6 of the outfield, 10, 22 or younger. And pretty invidious circumstances for Chelsea to be playing in, bearing in mind the run that they're in at the moment. 2 defeats in a row, 6 away defeats in 7. When you've got a young side like that, it's difficult to learn on the job when there's pressure of numbers against you.
Yeah, I think there's two sides of that story as well, Jim. When you look and you think to yourself, if you take the money out of the equation, what was paid for these lads, and probably the history of the football club, you'd think what a bright future they've got.
Jackson's got it left-hand side of the penalty area, and it's played inside the box. Madueke setting up Gallagher, who rifles it into the top left-hand corner. Chelsea lead after 10 minutes. Really well taken goal. Pochettino turns away. No real celebration from him. But there's a relief all around the Chelsea contingent as Gallagher gives them the lead.
Well, that bright future has just paid dividends. Really well played. Ball lost just inside Villa's own half. And when it was swept across the face of goal, I've got to say, it was set back brilliantly well. And Gallagher didn't try to break the lever of the ball, just side-footed it delicately into the only place that he possibly could have done. Defenders coming to press him, and he just slotted it into the nearest corner. Clinical finish.
His first goal in 35 games. Run that stretched back to last May with a goal against Bournemouth. And this one of great significance. Villa 0, Chelsea 1. And the first goal that Chelsea have scored in 4 meetings against the Midlanders. Now they've got a pretty good record, the weekend notwithstanding, in matches in which they've gone 1-0 up. But they did lose from 1-0 at the weekend. Moreno's ball inside the penalty area. Chance for Villa straight away. Bailey's effort deflected and blocked. Badiashile wasting time getting it away. Bailey got a shot in, almost inexplicably. Petrovic can make the save. But Badiashile had 2 or 3 attempts at getting that away and couldn't. And Leon Bailey might have punished him.
Yeah, it's this area again just in front of us that Villa are getting in or playing balls into the channel. The intelligent McGinn is right in front of us, helping set things up. But Badiashile very loose.
Watkins with a left-footed effort that is tipped over the bar as it just came to the edge of the box. Chelsea making a mistake. I think it was Palmer that time gave it away, and Watkins capitalised on it, lashed one towards goal, and Petrovic with a comfortable save tipped it over the bar and out for a corner.
Yeah, great strike there. It fell, and you knew Watkins was going to give it everything he's got. Petrovic done well, got parried over the bar, but just prior to that, Badiashile's had 2 shots, or 2 fresh air shots, trying to clear it.
McGinn taking the corner short, and Chelsea will be able to bring it away. And counter-attack with number. Martinez scampers back. Badiashile's made a good run forward on the right. The ball is on the left. It's played in towards Badiashile, and Martinez will get back and slide on the edge of the 6-yard box to make the save. Well, on the Villa coaching staff, they've got Austin McPhee, who is a genius in terms of being a set-piece coach, and he's got all of these intricate deliveries that can come in, and that one was a pass towards the penalty spot, but the angle was wrong. Chelsea read it, led the counter-attack, and it was 4 against 2 for a moment.
Yeah, it certainly was. That was more a Nanny McPhee rather than an Austin McPhee set play, but it was played and it was worked quite well, apart from, as you said, the angle of the ball wasn't deep enough. It cleared the edge of the box, but it was too shallow. The counter-attack was on, and Jackson should have done a lot better. He should have played the ball to, it was Badiashile that made some great ground and distance up.
So Chelsea lead 1-0. And you sense, despite the fact that it was 0-0 when the sides last met, that this won't stay 1-0 for long. Villa, with a half-decent record of coming from behind in games in the Premier League this season, when they've gone at 1-0 down, they've won 3 and drawn another 3. Douglas Luiz caught there by Caicedo. There's no advantage for Villa. Now, Douglas Luiz is okay, he's back on his feet, but it was a very strong challenge coming in that put him on the deck. Chelsea, as I mentioned, decent record this season, all competitions. They won 11 out of 13 when they've been 1-0 up, but the one defeat they've had was the weekend, where they scored early, about the same time as Conor Gallagher has scored tonight, and then they conceded the next 4 goals in the game before netting a late consolation. Kamara out to the Aston Villa right. 15 gone. Villa 0, Chelsea 1. Celtic lead at Hibs by a goal to nil. Adam Eder with his first goal for the club from the penalty spot. And it's Hibs 0, Celtic 1. Cash chasing after a long ball down towards the corner flags with no chance of getting it. And Ben Chilwell will go across and retrieve the ball from in front of the hoardings right by the Chelsea supporters, who've been in fine voice and will be encouraged by some facets of what they've seen so far. Defensively, they've looked nervous at times, to say the least. You'd expect that from a side that have conceded 8 goals in the last 10 days over 2 games, but going forward, this has been a Chelsea side with a much better balance so far tonight.
Yeah, it certainly has. As I say, they've taken their goal extremely clinically, and I'm quite surprised that Gallagher had been his first goal, you know, in the position he plays and the energy that he shows. I think he's done reasonably well this season in a side that haven't done well. They've certainly needed his energy and drive in midfield, Chelsea, but they have looked a little bit loose on occasion.
Now McGinn and Tielemans have lost possession between them. Enzo Fernandez chipping it forward. Appeals that Palmer is offside. The flag has stayed down. Palmer's got it right inside of the penalty area. He's pulled it back towards Madueke and it's cleared. Gusto will play it back out towards the right-hand side, though, and Palmer gets it again down by the corner flag. Twisting and turning, feigned across with his left foot. Now will have another opportunity to deliver, still doesn't. Longley stood to his task well and forced Palmer to play it back for Gusto. Gusto with a disguised ball goes back to halfway for Disasi. Disasi twisting one way and then the other, fighting Gusto. Caicedo wants the ball in defeat. Gusto goes to ground, foul by Douglas Luiz. It's a Chelsea free kick on halfway and they lead it.
You know, just get the impression with Gusto, I've seen him on a couple of occasions, just tries to show off, showboat a little bit, probably more so than a player and playing in his position actually needs to.
Nicholas Jackson, left-hand side of the penalty area, chipping inside the box. Left-footed volley back from Madueke, just scuffs through towards the goalkeeper. Now Martinez will come out, race to the edge of his penalty area, but saw that there wasn't really an outball for him. And so he just bowls it to the edge of the box, and Longley is going to be able to bring it away. Long way to go. Is Villa's Cup hoodoo going to continue? Last time they got this far in the competition was 8 years ago. Bearing in mind we're only in round 4. They were beaten 4-0 by Manchester City here. The last FA Cup tie here, they were beaten by Stevenage. They have been eliminated in the last 5 FA Cup ties to Premier League opposition. The last top flight side that they beat in the Cup was a semi-final win over Liverpool some 9 seasons ago. Now they're trailing Chelsea tonight. Here's Longley controlling the ball and then, having slipped, still able to retain possession, steered it away from Palmer to get it back towards halfway. Diego Carlos to Cash and back again. Longley showing for the ball to the left. Moreno loves to take this really advanced position down the Aston Villa left, but now has got some backtracking to do because Chelsea have turned possession over and Moreno's out of position. And Madueke will break inside the area and cuts across the ball and sends it way wide. And he had 4 really good options to his left. And among them, Enzo Fernandez couldn't hide his dismay at such a poor attempt from Madueke. It's another really good chance.
Well, it certainly is. Longley's backtracking, didn't fancy the challenge of one-on-one, and he opens his body up and you think, well, OK, find a pass or curl one into the far corner, and he just hits it straight side-footed and, well, he misses by a country mile.
But that's a worry for Villa, the way that they were exposed defensively then, with the very high positioning down this left-hand side of Alex Moreno. And when Chelsea are able to turn over possession, Villa, with the high line that they have, playing into the Blues' hands. Here's Gusto. Emery, a manager with such a sensational cup record, particularly in the European Cup competition. Disasi, back to Badiashile. Badiashile tapping in inside the centre circle for Caicedo, immediately gets the return ball. We're 19 minutes in. You're with Talksport. Villa 0, Chelsea 1, and Conor Gallagher, the goal scorer, finds Gusto. Gusto chipping a straight ball down the right-hand touchline, which has been well brought under control here by Madueke. Gusto on the overlap, right-footed cross is fizzed in and volleyed away left-footed by Yuri Tielemans, who once scored the winner in an FA Cup final. Gallagher's got it again, back from him to Madueke, and Madueke turns it back inside the centre circle for Badiashile, and this is good Chelsea possession, forcing Villa back. Chilwell will then turn and use the emergency exit behind him, Georgi Petrovic, the goalkeeper, who controls it and allows Villa to push forward and condense the play. But we've reached the 20-minute mark, and visitors Chelsea lead it by a goal to nil.
Yeah, I think whichever team are victors this evening will be pretty pleased with the draw. But I think it's a really good draw, to be fair, on paper. The winner's home to Leeds, if I'm not mistaken, Jim.
Yeah, that's correct. Here's Gusto on the right-hand side of the box, and it's headed in for two. Jackson, nobody picking him up. Great ball in from the right-hand side. Jackson was there, cushioned a header, and midway through the first half, Chelsea, crisis club Chelsea, lead at Villa by 2-0.
Well, I've got to say, Gusto there's no showboating about what he done. Orthodox full-back play, down the touchline, whipped a brilliant ball across. That's the second one in the game that he's done. On this occasion, Jackson used the pace of the ball just to guide it in delicately into the far corner. I've got to say, fantastic headed finish. He just started his run, then he's held up a couple of paces, then he's gone again, met the ball so cleanly, and just from dead centre a goal, couldn't really miss. But I tell you what, he done really well guiding it low into the bottom left-hand corner, Jim. 9th Chelsea goal, and just his second in his last 18 games for club and country. And they lead by 2-0. And Jackson, coming off the left-hand side, just adds another dimension really to Chelsea's attack. It certainly brought more out of him. Well, the manager's obviously seen something, maybe just to freshen him up a little bit. And when you play on the flanks, you're not always got your back to play. And maybe Jackson, being of a young age, it's not always easy to play solely with your back to play.
Well, very definitely something tangible to protect now for Chelsea. A 2-0 lead against a side who've won 13 out of 16 on home turf this season. But Villa yet to get going. They had some good moments in the opening 10-12 minutes around the Chelsea penalty area, and they could have got themselves back on level terms straight after the Gallagher goal. But now they've got work to do. Exactly midway through the first half, it's Villa 0, Chelsea 2 here on Talksport. And here's former FA Cup finalist and goal scorer Stuart Pearce. Wait a moment, the ball bouncing over the head of Alex Moreno. He's played inside the penalty area. It could have been 3. Gusto with a cross, couldn't find Palmer. It breaks Villa's way, and McGinn will be able to try and find Douglas Luiz. Played it behind, just completely missed him. Enzo Fernandez then rolls it forward and misses Palmer. Comedy of errors for a moment. The ball ends up in the hands of Martinez. It was a scruffy passage of play. Both sides will be glad that wasn't a costly error they committed.
Yeah, I'll tell you what Chelsea have done really well, Jim. Every time they've had the ball in a crossing area or in an advanced area, they've got good numbers in the box. As you picked up earlier, 4 were in the box when Maduaku got his finish horribly wrong. On that occasion, once again, they got 4 runners into the box, aside from the man on the ball, and that obviously starting to overload Villa's defensive frailties.
Cash getting it forward down the Villa right-hand side. Bailey, ball over the top. Watkins, goal side, just for a moment, but at a tight angle, and Disasi recovered. Back he goes for Tielemans. Left-footed ball clipped inside the penalty area. Douglas Luiz nodding it down, but Gusto was back and was able to dig it away from the edge of the 6-yard box.
Yeah, Moreno was the header. As I say, Luiz landed square on his head. He just needed to cushion it backwards to Moreno, who was clear. Decided to try and head across the box.
This is a Chelsea side with a lousy record away from home against top half Premier League opposition so far this season. Which more in a moment, as Cash on the right hand side of the box tries to be the architect of something here for Villa, but the flag comes up from Dan Rowbottom, the assistant referee over on the far side. They've played 6 games away from home this season in the Premier League against sides currently in the top half. They've lost 5 of them. Won just the one, which was at Spurs, that crazy game that Tottenham had 2 sent off. Come into this having lost 6 of the last 7 away games, Chelsea, with the exception being a 3-2 win at Luton. All of those ingredients wouldn't have pointed you towards them having a 2-0 lead inside at 20 odd minutes tonight.
No, it certainly wouldn't. And then again, you look at Chelsea, maybe they are your archetypical cup side now. Got talent in the team, but not consistent. They're in one major final.
There's Watkins, Tielemans, Bailey coming onto it, but Chilwell shuffled across from left back to clear and get it off his toes as he was preparing to pull the trigger. Palmer forced to track back towards his own corner flag, turns brilliantly to get away from Watkins, and then buys the free kick from referee Tom Bramall. It was cute but effective from Cole Palmer. It's a free kick that will be taken by Chelsea in the right back position. He turned brilliantly, felt the hand of Watkins, made sure the referee realised that pressure had been applied.
Yeah, he certainly did. I mean, Villa, they're 2-0 down, but in a game where they've taken the wrong option in the box to set up finishes on probably about 2 or 3 occasions. If they clean them up a little bit, they will get chances continually in this game.
Chiffor by Badiashile for Chelsea. And now Ben Chilwell's going to be able to bring it forward. Good run by Jackson down the left-hand side again. Diego Carlos will go out there with him. Cash is back inside the penalty area as well. Jackson getting towards the byline, looking to pull it back, but had overrun it. And it just goes over the line out of play for a goal kick. That'll be taken by Martinez. Well, plenty of signs of promise as far as Chelsea are concerned so far tonight. They're next in action Monday. They're away at Crystal Palace. It is a game that is live and exclusive to Talksport next Monday. The following Monday is when FA Cup 5th round begins. It is a midweek round, Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. Winners of this, as Stuart mentioned earlier, at home to Leeds, which if it is Chelsea will bring back memories of some spectacular FA Cup clashes back in the early 70s. Now that game is a week Wednesday, the 28th, the winners of this against Leeds, and that's how it's looking at the moment. We'll bring in all of the action from FA Cup 5th round weekend, or FA Cup 5th round midweek, should I say, here on the Talksport network, on Talksport and over on Talksport 2. Tonight on Talksport 2, still 1-1 in that Forest Bristol City Cup tie. This one 2-0 to Chelsea. Gusto leaving Douglas Luiz on the deck. Alex Moreno was down and is just getting back to his feet now, puts his hand to his eye, but is trotting back into position. And for all the credit that you give Chelsea, the clinical nature that they've shown with their goals, it's been a below par performance at times. Easy for me to say.
Yeah, as I say, I just think Villa have just not been clinical around the 18-yard box when they've had the odd chance, basically, of setting up a finish for a teammate. And Chelsea, I've got to say, they've showed a real clinical nature to their 2 finishes.
Gallagher on 11, Jackson on 21. Chelsea 2 goals to the good. Villa bringing the ball out from the back with Diego Carlos. Play towards Kamara. He's giving it away now. Just pass it straight to Ben Chilwell. Chilwell out towards the left-hand side for Gallagher. Chilwell's continued his run forward. Tielemans is back to defend. Can't stop the cross coming in, but it's not an effective one. And Carlos gets it away from the on-rushing Palmer. And Bailey on the Aston Villa right-hand side, but midway inside his own half, is able just to put his foot on the ball and calm things down and try and get Aston Villa going again. It's a French tricolour just waved down by the corner flag over on the far touchline. Alex Moreno stabbing the ball forward and trying to give Watkins something to attack. But Chelsea can mop up effectively, and Caicedo will work it back for Petrovic. 28 gone, Villa 0, Chelsea 2.
Yeah, I think Chelsea's fullbacks are going to have to be a little bit more aggressive than what they actually are. Moreno's got forward on a couple of occasions in front of us. Just feel as aching, his starting position needs to be a little bit higher.
Gusto. 10 yards inside his own half. Play down towards Mudryk. I guess it's to Madueke, I beg your pardon. But Madueke will bring the ball forward, out towards the Chelsea right-hand side. Flicked in by Palmer as he got the touch he wanted off Douglas Luiz. He has. Now it's out of play for a second Chelsea corner.
Yeah, good build-up play. Chelsea obviously showing real neatness on the ball. They've got some good technicians within their ranks, you know. It's just that level of consistency that they've been thumbing for most of this season.
I guess it's a different balance, a difficult balance to get really for Alex Moreno. We talked about the fact that on a couple of occasions he has had a very high starting position, and Chelsea have been able to expose that. And now he's obviously trying to learn from his mistakes. Maybe gone a little bit too far the other way. It's a corner which will be taken on the Chelsea right-hand side. Ben Chilwell, the player that stands over, as they look for a third goal. Header away from the edge of the 6-yard box, met by another. Bailey then with the cushion header. Villa might be able to launch something on the counter-attack now. Bailey, it's a brilliant challenge on him by Gallagher. Won the ball cleanly. It's a really, really good interception. And Noni Madueke brings it forward and wins another corner off Alex Moreno. Crowd not happy. They think that was a foul by Gallagher, but it was a very well-timed challenge to stop the Bailey counter-attack.
That was a top-quality challenge, no doubt about that. He's gone, yes. You know, his left leg might have, the secondary leg might have just caught Bailey, but to be fair, you can't outlaw things like that in the British game.
So another Chelsea corner, and again it's Chilwell that will go across the taking. Palmer stands with his hands on his hips about 12 yards from the corner flag. Gallagher is unmarked on the edge of the penalty area. Everybody's back for Villa. It's rolled in short into the feet of Palmer. Now play towards Gallagher. Villa come out and engage, but Chilwell still got it. Left foot, it's gone for the near post and has dragged it about 2 yards wide. Out of play for a goal kick that will be taken by Emi Martinez, who's Aston Villa trail by 2-0. Last meeting between these two in the FA Cup prior to this season was in the semi-finals back in 2010. Chelsea left it late, won 3-0 that day at Wembley with goals from Drogba, Malouda and Lampard. They also won the 2000 FA Cup final, the last one at the old Wembley against Villa, when Roberto Di Matteo's goal was enough to win what was a pretty drab final that year. Chelsea getting the job done. Villa's last win against Chelsea in the FA Cup, 1960. And the early signs are that record is going to be continuing. Here's Gallagher chipping it forward now out towards the Chelsea right-hand side for Madueke. Palmer's made his way forward. Jackson unmarked to the far post. Madueke with time just to survey his options. He's actually stopped his run, pulled the ball back for Gallagher. Now it goes down towards Gusto. Gusto on the right flank goes deep. Chelsea building up the momentum in the attack, and then it all dissipates very quickly. Villa try to turn possession over high in the midfield with Kamara, have been able to do exactly that. But not too many options for Bailey, who shuffles back slowly to Diego Carlos, and as he sends a long ball forward, he's pinged a Hollywood pass, almost to Hollywood, South Birmingham that is, straight out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Chelsea right-hand side. He's missed his intended target by about 15 yards. 2-0 to Chelsea. Landed
in a Smethwick postcode, I think, there. I think it was Douglas Luiz probably who played the pass, but I think Bailey should have been the one turning and looking to play the pass. It was on when he had it in preference to Luiz.
Now, free kick taken quickly by Luiz, but from the wrong place after Tielemans was fouled. And just a little angry reaction for a moment. Tielemans and Gusto involved in that. Then McGinn takes the free kick, and again the referee said, I'm not ready yet. He's rolled it down the left-hand side towards Ollie Watkins, who hadn't blown the whistle, in fairness to the referee, and they were still arguing from two players from each side about the previous coming together. So now it's spotted down, and Chelsea have got their defensive shape back, and they're holding a line 6 yards from the edge of the penalty area. McGinn stands on the edge of the box in a clearly deliberate offside position. Now they've also got Bailey waiting in the D, knowing that Chelsea are going to drop back and play him onside. Swung in here by Douglas Luiz. Defensive header comes out to the left-hand side of the penalty area, where Madueke's going to win the battle of the two number 11s against Watkins, and he'll be able to bring it away. And then Douglas Luiz, struggling, couldn't stop him. And Madueke brings it forward. And all of a sudden he's run 60 yards. Palmer inside the penalty area, onto his left foot. Good save from Martinez, and Cash hammers the rebound away.
Once again, it was Madueke who literally picked the ball up in his own penalty box and drove to the opposition's penalty box. Really good run, great strength as well, just to nudge off Moreno and set up his teammate.
Douglas Luiz has been struggling through illness and came off at half-time in the game at the weekend. I wonder whether, to keep an eye on him, Stuart, whether you think he's labouring here tonight as well. Just struggling, maybe something's not quite right. Well, Madueke brushed him off very easily there. Chelsea now win the corner.
Yeah, he's certainly not caught my eye in this game in anything good that he's done, it's fair to say, at present. Well,
this latest Chelsea corner is going to be taken over on the right flank. It is their fourth, and Ben Chilwell will come across to take it. So it's the same setup as the last one. Palmer stands almost on the dead ball line, about 12 yards from the corner taker. Gallagher's actually moved into a wider position this time, also offering himself for the short one. Chilwell delivers it deeper. Jackson, scorer of the second goal, goes up for it. Comes out for Caicedo, who completely misses his kick. And then Jackson goes down, having miscontrolled it. Madueke, I beg your pardon, miscontrolled on the edge of the penalty area. Villa looked to be able to counter-attack, but couldn't. But now they will be able to calm things down at the back and be able to bring it forward. And Emery comes out of the edge of the technical area, and he's not happy at the... I think the lack of pace that Villa are showing. There's a lack of dynamism about them as they turn over possession. They can't break forward as quickly as ordinarily they can. They still bring it forward now, though, with McGinn finding Alex Moreno. Moreno stepping in off the left flank, forced back by Madueke, and Douglas Luiz will turn it away from Palmer to find Longley. Inside the centre circle, Diego Carlos. We've got 9 minutes to go to half-time. It's played out towards Boubacar Kamara. And now a long diagonal ball, and Moreno will chase after it, and it just bounced off the turf and zipped away from him. And goes out of play for a throw that'll be taken by Chelsea. Well, in the build-up, we were talking about Maurizio Pochettino, talking about the pressure that he's under. Let's pay tribute to the way that the first 36 minutes have gone. Chelsea with this 2-0 lead, not an unassailable advantage, of course, but they've got complete control, and credit to them the way they've been able to garner that when the pressure has been on in the way that it is. There's Tielemans inside the box, and he'll try and find a way through, and Enzo Fernandez came back, and Tielemans had his arms around Enzo. There appeared to be something going the other way as well. The referee is given a corner.
Well, I think the referee literally there did not have a clue what was going on between those two players having a pushing match, and just pointed to the corner, to be honest with you.
Corner that will be taken on the Villa left by Douglas Luiz, who has scored from a couple of these in the past. It's going to be a right-footed in swinger towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Travelled a long way, took a couple of touches. Gusto's going to be able to lead the counter-attack over on the left-hand touchline this time. But Diego Carlos doing his best to get back goal side. Ends up fouling it. Knew the danger of letting him travel too far. Tom Bramall has given a free kick. And is he going to produce a yellow card as well? Looks as though he is reaching for his pocket. And he's the first player cautioned tonight.
Yeah, poor play there. Carlos is chasing Gusto back, and he's never actually got goal side, and he's having a nibble after nibble after nibble, and eventually he was destined to give a free kick away.
Now, half-time in our game live over on Talksport 2, Forest 1, Bristol City 1. So still no closer to knowing who's going to be at home to Manchester United in round 5. Half-times in the Premiership, Kilmarnock 0, Livy 0, St Johnstone 0, Hearts 0. Still 1-0 Celtic lead at Hibs in an 8 o'clock kickoff, and it's goal of St Mirren against Dundee in an 8:15 kickoff. That game put back half an hour because of traffic problems. This one 2-0 to Chelsea with 7 minutes to go to half-time. Disassi square to his left for Caicedo. Badiashile playing it forward, and Jackson didn't make the run he was anticipating. Chilwell couldn't get there, and it just rolls innocuously over the line and out of play for an Aston Villa goal kick. But what would you make of Chelsea's performance and the character they've shown up to this point, bearing in mind the invidious circumstances in which they come into this game?
Well, I think everyone was thinking that Villa's work was done getting the draw away at Stamford Bridge, but there's certainly anything far from the case. Longer the half's gone on, the more comfortable Chelsea have looked. But a goal just before half-time will change everything, I think, for Villa.
They've got a throw as a conduit to halving the deficit. Cash will go across to take it over on the far side. 6 before the break. And Cash waiting for a few options to arrive. Bailey tries to head it on. Watkins goes up for it. They haven't created Ollie Watkins even a half chance so far tonight. Diego Carlos heading it forward, and Chilwell heads that away. Now Douglas Luiz brings it down on his chest and tries to volley it out towards the far side. Chilwell smacks it clear, and Martinez sweeps up 10 yards outside his own box.
Yeah, I think as well in Chelsea's ranks, Madueke's done extremely well on this right-hand side. He's terrorised Moreno. got forward really well.
It's only the 7th start that he's had since he moved to Chelsea, although a lot of those have come relatively recently. Just 3 Premier League starts so far. A player that they paid £30 million for from PSV in the summer. Here's Ollie Watkins taking the ball down towards the corner flag, trying to win a corner, does get a throw, comes off Disasi, and Moreno will come forward to take it. In the final 5 minutes of the first half, that I don't think is going to be extended by too much. McGinn spins away, runs inside the penalty area and then comes back out again. And Moreno, waiting so long to take this throw, eventually dropped the ball before launching it in. Now he does throw it in. It's flicked on a couple of times. Chelsea headed away. Gallagher gets it further clear, brought down by Moreno, and then he brings down Gallagher. And it's a free kick to Chelsea, midway inside their own half. Villa 0, Chelsea 2. And of course, plenty to react to on the sports bar tonight. Chelsea fans, what have you made of this performance? Is it frustrating that the inconsistency perhaps has been highlighted tonight, but this is the kind of level that Chelsea aren't able to play it on a regular basis? You can have your say with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. We'll also be bringing you a reaction from Unai Emery and Maurizio Pochettino. It's a sports bar from 10 o'clock tonight here on Talksport. Madueke lays it back for Gusto. Down towards Palmer. Play back by Cole Palmer again to Gusto. And Palmer coming in off the right-hand touchline, plays a conservative ball back towards halfway. Now is Assi for Badiashile. Retreating Chilwell, able to retain possession under duress. Now Fernandes can play it out towards Chilwell again. Fernandes comes back towards halfway. Gallagher back inside his own half for Caicedo. Chelsea retaining possession very ably here and neatly just throwing the passes around inside their own half, but making Villa do a bit of chasing at the moment.
Yeah, they are, but I've seen Chelsea a few times this year, Jim, and I've been quite critical about them sort of playing a clunky way. They're playing passes behind players, not the right weight, not the right angle. But tonight, to be fair, the longer this game and half's gone on, the passing's pretty clinical through the team, and they look a team that are enjoying their football at this moment in time.
And Jackson thought that he was brought down over on the far touchline by Carlos, but the referee didn't. And Villa will be able to bring it away, and then Chilwell is in very strongly to rob Bailey of possession. The referee did think that was a foul, and has given the free kick Villa's way on halfway. 2.5 minutes to go. What do Villa need to do more of to create more opportunities and get themselves back into this game? Because it's hard to think of a worthwhile save that Petrovic has had to make so far. 2 shots on target from Villa. Chelsea have had 5.
Yeah, and I don't think the entries into the box have sort of dried up. The longer the half's gone on, the more they've dried up, and a few of those entries were created by this side with Moreno and McGinn interacting together.
Now Tielemans tries a little reverse ball down the left-hand side of the box, and that's easily cleared. And Gusto finding halfway, but only finding Longley there, patrolling for Aston Villa at the back. Here's McGinn trying to find Alex Moreno. That's knocked away. And then Madueke again. Ronnie Madueke doing well to turn it forward for Caicedo. Douglas Luiz just lent into him. It was subtle, and he immediately indicates that he thinks Caicedo's dived, but it is a free kick which will be taken by Chelsea on the right-hand touchline.
Yeah, as I say, Chelsea at the moment, they look as though it's a training ground exercise of possession and keep ball. They're really comfortable in possession, enjoying their football, almost showboating. But what they've can't lose track of is don't lose the work ethic out of possession as well, because it only takes one goal and Villa Park comes alive again.
Chelsea with Badiashile bringing the ball forward towards halfway again. And it's Jackson coming into a more central area here, and he just got caught by Diego Carlos, and it's a free kick to Chelsea. They clearly failed to score, Aston Villa at Chelsea, the last time the two sides met. That's one of only 6 blanks that they've had since Emery came to the club. This is his 60th game. They have scored in every game, Villa, that they've played here since Unai Emery took charge. All 31. So Chelsea, you would realistically think that Chelsea will be expecting tonight that the deficit might get halved, but they still feel as though they're in a comfortable position. Possession 60-40 in Chelsea's favour. 9 attempts to 4 in their favour. 5 shots on 2 in their favour. Corner count in their favour. And the eye test certainly is one that they are passing ahead of Aston Villa as we come towards the end of the first half. And fourth official Anthony Taylor indicates that there'll be 2 additional minutes to be played.
2 minutes.
We're into them now here on Talksport. Moreno, left-hand side of the penalty area. It's off Gusto and then back into Moreno. And out of play for a goal kick that Petrovic will be in no hurry to take. He just takes a swig of juice from his bottle behind the goal. Now gets the ball and raises a gloved right hand above his head and points towards the hold end to indicate that this is going to go long to get the ball out of harm's way. Good first half here for Chelsea.
Oh, it's been a super first half for Chelsea. The longer it's gone on, the more comfortable they've got, the more comfortable on the ball they've got. Rotations are good. The interchange between each player has been very good. And 2 clinical finishes and 2 goals.
Chelsea will take a throw over on the far side with Jackson, and unsurprisingly, as the clock is winding its way towards half-time, he then throws the ball down towards Chilwell, and that's a foul throw for him. He just dropped the ball onto the pitch. Slipped as he tried to deliver it. Villa then take the throw. Watkins has spun his man, brings it down on the edge of the penalty area. Not much in the way of support apart from McGinn, whose rising drive just clears the bar with the aid of a little touch from Petrovic, and he goes out of play for a corner. And it all came after Ben Chilwell with a candidate for the worst throw of the season. Just dropped the ball out of his hands.
Yeah, it was a really poor one. And a great setup. As I say, anything can change at the drop of a hat here. And Chelsea really loose. Watkins got free, and when he slid the ball sideways, McGinn should have done a lot better with that finish, I believe.
So a corner right at the end of the half, in from Douglas Luiz. Really good header away from Caicedo. Out for Moreno, who would much rather that have fallen to his left foot than his right. And he's just topped it and balloons it over the bar. 2 minutes of first half stoppage time are up. There's a big cheer from the Chelsea fans over on the far side. Few of them making the way from London up to Birmingham would have expected this. Gallagher on 11, Jackson on 21. Chelsea have grown in confidence with the 2-goal advantage. They deserve it. Villa 0, Chelsea 2.
As Mauricio Pochettino makes his way down the tunnel ahead of his Chelsea players, he was giving nothing away in terms of his emotions, but Chelsea have played very well in that first half. A 2-goal lead, and he's got to be happy. Behind that facade, Mauricio Pochettino has got to be happy. Let's take a look at the halftime highlights in partnership with Carling.
The Emirates FA Cup halftime highlights on Talksport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup and Adobe Women's FA Cup. 18 plus, please drink responsibly.
And Stuart Pearce, the big question I've got to ask you to start at halftime is, where's this Chelsea been all season? We're talking about crisis before the game. Does Pochettino know what he's doing? Is he contradicting himself? They're conceding goals left, right and centre. They're totally in control here tonight.
I'm going to say the royal we, just to get you out of trouble, but we did spend an hour building gallows to Maurizio beforehand, and they've gone rusty now, haven't they? They really have. His team have come out, got on top of Villa the longer the half's gone on. 2 really clinical finishes, I've got to say, and his team are really enjoying their football at the moment. The interaction, keeping possessions, little triangles, it's all there. Madawak is a real threat on this right hand side, and they're playing really well. The only thing that you worry with Chelsea is they get a little bit cock-a-doodle-doo and all of a sudden lose track of what they're trying to achieve, and Villa get a goal and everything changes. But at this moment in time, a good of 45 minutes is probably Chelsea have put together this season.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. They are a little bit weird, Chelsea, aren't they? And that Chilwell throw-in said it all. I mean, they could easily have scored from that, probably should have scored from that Aston Villa. This is like an experienced international footballer, the Chelsea captain, who literally couldn't take a throw-in properly, and therefore Villa have possession, charge up the field. It's that kind of mistake, that kind of problem that Chelsea create for themselves that allows opponents in, and they're being punished for mistakes. They weren't on that occasion, but listen, if Aston Villa come back in the second half rejuvenated and they win it 4-2, we wouldn't exactly be surprised, would we?
No, I think Chelsea have got this game to lose for themselves, because they keep doing what they're doing. and be consistent with their football and not get too excited and show off like kids who think they're having a good day in the park, then they'll be comfortable and they'll win the game and they'll look to get the next goal. But on the odd occasion I look at them and I think, there's a little bit of showboat in there, and just be careful in what you do. The best sides in the world never do that. They just roll you over and they consistently come again and get more and more goals against you, and that's what Chelsea have got to do.
Talking of goals, Conor Gallagher, it's only his 4th goal in his last 100 games for club and country, which is an extraordinary stat. Bearing in mind, he was like a goal machine from midfield for Crystal Palace on loan a few years ago. But that stat astonishes me, and the quality of his finish tonight as well was superb. A side foot into the top corner after good work on the left from Madueke and Jackson. But I thought it was absolutely fantastic from Conor Gallagher. How on earth doesn't he score more goals?
It surprised me, that stat, Aid. I've got to say, the position he plays, the energy he shows, the entries that he has into the opposition's box, you would expect more of a finish, and certainly what he done at Palace. What I would say though, tonight's finish was absolutely superb. He didn't try to break the skin off the ball, he just placed it into the only corner that was available to him, and a really clinical finish.
The other goal, Nicholas Jackson, I don't think he's as bad as people make out. It's his 9th of the season. If you bear in mind, in the Premier League only, Didier Drogba in his first season got 10. I'm not saying Jackson's going to go on to have the impact Drogba did, but I think he's having a fairly decent first season without being spectacular, Nicholas Jackson. But he must have BO or something, because there were no Villa players anywhere near him in the box as he headed home.
No, and I've got to give him a little bit of credit, and Chelsea credit as well. Chelsea get numbers in the box, and every time they've had sort of entries or turnovers, people have broke their neck to get in the box to be available, 2s and 3s and 4s at times. And if you do that, you can't pick everyone up. And Jackson was cute. He started to go in, then he stopped his run, and him stopping the run made him come straight onto the ball and guide it into that bottom left-hand corner. It's a very good header, made look very easy.
Well, Chelsea 2-0 up at half-time here at Aston Villa, and heading through to a 5th round tie with Championship Leeds United. That was thanks to Carling. 18 plus, please drink responsibly.
The Emirates FA Cup halftime highlights on Talksport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup and Adobe Women's FA Cup. 18 plus, please drink responsibly.
Well, Nigeria are through to the AFCON final. Who will they face? It's halftime in the other semi. Here's Jeff Peters.
Yeah, it's Ivory Coast 0, DR Congo 0. A disjointed first half, just like the one earlier between Nigeria and South Africa, but that game eventually came to life, producing insane penalty drama. And yeah, the Super Eagles will face whoever wins this. Ivory Coast improved as the game wore on. Sebastian Allaire, formerly of West Ham, put a free header well wide from 8 yards. Should have done better. Frank Cassier then struck a post. Congo perhaps unluckily had an early goal disallowed. Then Johan Wisser of Brentford was denied by the keeper at close range, but I think VAR would have ruled it out for offside had it gone in. Half-time, the tournament hosts Ivory Coast 0, DR Congo 0.
And elsewhere, live on Talksport 2 right now, Forest 1, Bristol City 1. Divock Origi gave Forest the lead. Jason Knight, formerly of Derby County, got the equaliser for Bristol City. That will have, I don't think the Forest fans would have been happy with that. Stuart Pearce wouldn't be happy with that anyway. Aston Villa 0, Chelsea 2 here. Scottish Premiership, Kilmarnock 0, Livingston 0, St Johnstone 0, Hearts 0, Hibs 0, Celtic 1 is now a half-time score. Adam Eder on loan from Norwich from the penalty spot, and then a later kick-off, St Mirren 0, Dundee 0. You listen to Kick-Off on Talksport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Kick-Off on Talksport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Place they call the home of home inspiration, where a family of 4 can feast for £15, where free workshops bring kids' imaginations to life. And some of your favorite products now have even lower prices. Some say this place can be found at the end of a rainbow. We say it can be found at IKEA. IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
It was Valentine's Day, with moonpigs all around. This little moonpig made Mo's heart skip a beat, and this romantic little moonpig made Dahlia go wah, wah, wah all day long. For this Valentine's Day, it must be a Moonpig.com. Download the app now.
At Continental Tires, we've been championing women's football for over 13 years. For us, it's more than a game, it's a passion. Join us on the 31st of March at Molyneux Stadium, Wolverhampton, for the FA Women's Continental Tires League Cup Final, for a celebration of women's football. Continental Tires, driving safety and performance. For tickets, head to wolves.co.uk/tickets.
Get closer to the action. Every weekday morning as Coral and Talksport Breakfast prepares you for another day of sensational sporting drama. And with the Coral Daily Download, make sure you've got all the latest form and odds at your fingertips. Plus, get up-to-the-minute team news and special offers in one essential package. Don't miss the Coral Daily Download. Every morning from 6 on Talksport Breakfast with Coral. Get closer to the action and experience it all at coral.co.uk. 18 plus begambleaware.org.
Britain's best-selling commercial vehicle has been revolutionised. The all-new Ford Transit Custom. Now with Sync 4 connectivity as standard and vehicle health monitoring with Ford Live Uptime System, helping you be there for your customers. And until the end of March, get 0% APR on 3-year Ford Options Finance. Ford Pro. Driving productivity. Search Transit Custom 0%. According to SMMT data. Free post Ford credit. Business type exclusions apply.
Introducing the McSpicy and Frank's Red Hot Burger, featuring irresistible Frank's Red Hot Mayo, jalapenos, cheese, and our mouth-watering crispy, spicy coated chicken. You lot ain't ready for this one.
McSpicy and Frank's Red Hot, the hottest drop of the year. Until 12th of March from 11 a.m, subject to availability. Frank's Red Hot bottle not available at McDonald's.
Talksport Bet. If you want to flutter, punters know it's the only place to go. 'Cause you get the form and the latest odds across your sync devices. Plus weekly bet boost prices. Win big jackpots from a classic game of slots. Talksport Bet, the broadcast bonus bookie, keeping you on track with all the sporting stats. Steeple chases, even title races, looking after sports fans. You know, 'cause Talksport Bet is the app that does all that. It's the only place to go.
18 plus begambleaware.org.
The Emirates FA Cup live on Talksport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup and Adobe Women's FA Cup. 18 plus, please drink responsibly.
The unstoppable force of live football.
Brilliant goal!
Kickoff FA Cup special
on Talksport.
This is Talksport Kickoff live at Villa Park, where at half-time it is Aston Villa 0, Chelsea 2. Do not adjust your radios, that is the score. Let's get the half-time odds with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus begambleaware.org.
So Chelsea leading here at Villa 2-0, and the away side are 11-2 on to go on to win in 90 minutes. The draw is 6-1. Aston Villa to turn it around and win 14-1 in normal time. Nicholas Jackson to score the third goal in the match was 6-1. That's been price boosted now to 7-1. And Cole Palmer to score any time was 3-1. That's now 7-2. That's the latest odds with Ladbrokes. 18 plus begambleaware.org.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus begambleaware.org.
Big night of football, keeping you across all the goals going in the Scottish Premiership, and there's not one but two fourth round replays in the FA Cup. Let's listen in on the other one. It's ongoing on Talksport 2 right now. Forest and Bristol City all square one apiece. Here's Ian Danter and Courtney Sweetman-Kirk.
Red and Hayden Roberts can bring the ball clear for Bristol City, and then he wins the throw off Gibbs White. Great run from Origi, but he couldn't find the ball pulled back to a Forest player. As listeners from Talksport join us, we're about 7 minutes into the second half here at the City Ground. Nottingham Forest 1, Bristol City 1. That's the score it was at half-time. Forest led through Divock Origi, diverting the ball past Max O'Leary from a corner on 8 minutes. But within 6 minutes, Andy King tried his luck from fully 35 yards out for Bristol City. Matt Turner could only push it onto the post, rebounded off the other post, and Jason Knight slammed the ball home for 1-1. And since the restart, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, it's Bristol City who've looked the more confident in possession of these two sides.
Yeah, they've been fantastic. They've put that Forest goal under a lot of pressure. I think the only negative you would say is the fact that they've not scored. I think especially when you're coming to a Premier League team and a Premier League ground as the underdog. When you're on top, you want to try and score where possible, but it's interesting to see the subs warming up. It's Cornick and Tanner there ready to come on, so it's going to be interesting to see. Does that mean a change of formation? Is it like for like? Because I think all of these Bristol City players will be very disappointed actually if they were to come off, because I think they've all played brilliantly so far.
Forest have a free kick just by the centre circle inside the Bristol City half. Gibbs White, the captain, standing over it. Felipe's pulled away to the far post. He's the target. Doesn't reach him though, and Bristol City just lob it clear. And there's a chance for Tommy Conway to scamper down this near touchline and launch a counter-attack for the Robins. Good pace from Conway. He's outpaced Felipe, plays the ball into the area, and it comes off the arm, does it, of Toffolo? That's the claim from the Bristol City players. VAR is in operation, but Michael Salisbury has merely pointed for a corner kick at the Bridgeford end. 1-1.
Yeah, I do think it hits a hand there, Dan, but the fact is Toffolo has got his hands by his body. I don't think you can give that as a penalty. I really don't.
Well, the referee is motioning for the corner to be taken, so Hayden Roberts has come across to this near side where the Bridgeford end meets the Peter Taylor main stand for what will be a left-footed in-swinging corner from the Bristol City centre half at the Bridgeford end. Packed 6-yard box. In it comes from Roberts, right to the crossbar. Turner punches half clear. Conway has his bat to goal, sends it back out the area for Joe Williams. Williams with a diagonal ball back into the box, across the face of goal from Roberts, and Turner plunges on the ball and holds on to it. Commentary continues at this FA Cup fourth round replay on Talksport 2, where it is Nottingham Forest 1, Bristol City 1.
And you can get that commentary on Talksport 2 by downloading the Talksport app for free. It's easy to use as well. Just swipe between Talksport and Talksport 2, or you could just tell your smart speaker to play Talksport 2. You're listening to the FA Cup on Talksport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. Mauricio Pochettino's just emerged from the tunnel, walking slowly along in front of the fans towards the dugout. Seems quite calm, as you would be. They're 2-0 up. For heaven's sake. Hearts have gone 1-0 up at St Johnstone in the Scottish Premiership. The league's top scorer, the Scotland international Lawrence Shankland, with yet another goal 10 minutes after the restart. And let me tell you what's coming up on Talksport this weekend. Remember we said Chelsea had conceded 4 in each of the last 2 games. Sheffield Wednesday have done that as well. They're at home to Birmingham in the Championship. Live and exclusive Talksport 2 on Friday night. And then on Saturday, game day starts at 11. We've got Man City Everton as the 12:30 kick-off. Live and exclusive from the Premier League, only on Talksport. City can go top of the table. Reshman Chowdhury in charge for that one from 11. And then game day live, me, Ray Parlett, Dean Aston, taking you around the grounds, bringing you all the goals as they go in. I'll be based at Liverpool against Burnley. Tottenham Brighton not on telly, that one, 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon. That's live on Talksport 2. Sunday, Coventry Millwall in the Championship. That's live and exclusive on Talksport 2. A midday kickoff. Coventry, by the way, 4-1 winners in the FA Cup against Sheffield Wednesday last night. Some of the goals absolutely sensational. Some brilliant football. Check that out. Talksport 2, Sunday lunchtime. It is the FA Cup on Talksport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. 18+. Please drink responsibly. Teams are out for the second half. Chelsea fans in the first half were singing "How Bad Must You Be?" We're winning away, and it's a strange old night but an entertaining one. Conor Gallagher side-footing perfectly to score a rare goal. Nicholas Jackson heading home like he's been a perfect finisher all his life. Chelsea are 2 up, second half, live on Talksport with Stuart Pearce and Jim Proudfoot.
And there are no changes in personnel ahead of the second half. Villa lining up. Martinez in goal, Cash, Carlos, Longley and Moreno, Douglas Luiz and Kamara, Bailey, Tielemans, McGinn and Watkins. And we get underway. Chelsea kicking from right to left, defending the Holt end here in the second half, and lining up with Petrovic in goal, Gusto Disasi, Badiashile and Chilwell, Fernandes and Caicedo, Madueke, Gallagher, Jackson and Palmer. And here's Enzo Fernandez drifting out of the left-hand side. Chelsea in blue shirts and shorts and white socks. And as I mentioned, kicking from right to left. Villa in their customary claret and blue with white shorts. And Chelsea just enjoying a little bit of possession at the beginning of this second half. Have it over on the right-hand side with Madueke, but he was easily shrugged off it. He thought that he was fouled. Moreno able to bring it away. Tielemans now getting it forward. Disasi steps up from the defensive line and clears from Watkins. And then Gusto wanted to turn it back. There were no immediate options, so he briskly gets it back for Petrovic. Petrovic for Caicedo, who's urged to try and turn, and Chelsea are going to be able to play their way out from the back. Minute gone at the start of the second half, and Chelsea with this comfortable 2-0 lead.
Yeah, as I say, they've started this second half in the same vein as they finished the first, to be fair, comfortable in possession, certainly having the lion's share of possession these early stages. And I certainly think Villa have... I'm surprised they haven't made any changes at half-time, Villa, Jim.
Well, Unai Emery, a kind of disconsolate figure as he made his way down the tunnel after the first 45 minutes, speaking to a couple of Villa fans, a station not too far from us, at half-time, and they were far from happy. One saying it's the worst performance that he's seen here this season, and was critical of the amount of second ball that they've lost. He said he hasn't seen that under an Unai Emery Aston Villa side before. It's just been one of those nights. But do you think that if they were to be able to get themselves back into this game, Chelsea may be guilty of having fragile self-confidence at the moment, that Chelsea might start to shake, that just one goal could completely change the flow of the game?
I think it will change the flow of the game. I think one goal in Chelsea's direction will finish the game, but I think Chelsea, the way the game is panning out, will be their own architects of their own downfall. If they carry on doing what they're doing, I think they'll be more than comfortable seeing this game out.
Enzo gets the ball away from McGinn. It goes out of play for a Villa throw. Back to Martinez, controlling the ball by the penalty spot. Playing it now forward towards Carlos. Carlos to Kamara, who knew that he was going to get fouled by Enzo Fernandez. And the free kick has gone Aston Villa's way. But Villa coming into this, having lost only 2 the last 17 games in all competitions. Home form, which was almost perfect for the thick end of a year, has just dropped off. 1 home win in 3 after 19 of the previous 20 games here have been won. Another ball forward here, and split the gap between Watkins and Bailey. So it's easy for Chilwell to clear. Just hasn't been the accuracy. There hasn't been any potency from Villa so far tonight. And you wouldn't say that Chelsea are going at a canter at the moment, but they're certainly deserving this hefty advantage they've got. Here's Douglas Luiz. Back for Carlos inside his own half. And Villa leading 2 to take this to extra time. And the other FA Cup game that is live for you right now over on Talksport 2 remains 1-1 between Forest and Bristol City. 2-0 to Chelsea here. Villa still a little bit pedestrian at the back at times as they try and build forward through the thirds. Kamara to Cash. Cash turning away from Chilwell. Did well to stop the ball going out of play for a throw. Got it forward towards Bailey, and then when Tielemans gets it back towards Cash, he stumbled and it did go out of play for a throw that Chelsea will take. And there's no sign of any improvement as yet from Villa at the start of this second half.
No, there certainly isn't. As I say, just short of a bit of oomph, a bit of drive and a bit of cutting edge at present, and Chelsea just easing into the game, enjoying their work tonight, and certainly belying their lack of confidence, certainly.
There you go, Carlos.
I'm going to ask you a question. Are you surprised there's all this speculation about Gallagher leaving this football club?
No, because I think it's entirely FFP related. As the ball is played forward and goes through the goalkeeper. I think that because he's a homegrown player, it makes a difference in terms of how things are represented on the balance sheet, and I think that he is the saleable asset of someone that's come through the club. I think that can be the only reason he's captained the side well. I think the fact that he is captain at such a relatively young age and with so few miles on the clock in the grand scheme of things, I think that shows how much they love him. You know, it's only his 76th game for Chelsea today, and he's captained the side on a regular basis since Pochettino came to the club. And I think it can only be an FFP thing.
Yeah, as I say, aside from his goal earlier on this evening, Jim, the 2 tackles preventing counter-attacks are absolutely spot on.
So McGinn on the left-hand side of the Chelsea penalty area, but Disasi can get it away. Palmer flicking it beautifully around the corner for Madueke. And now he will run forward towards halfway. Jackson made a run a little bit too early for him. Madueke still got it. And it travelled a good 30-40 yards again. Fernandez in past Gallagher to run through for Palmer. Palmer keeps it in on the right-hand side of the box, down by the dead ball line. Palmer shuffling inside the area. Gallagher tried to get him into a shooting position, and the effort was blocked. Comes out for Gusto. Gusto to Caicedo. Gusto back pedals, lets the ball run across him, and now we'll work it forward again out towards the Chelsea right-hand side, where Gallagher wins the throw off again. But they look so much sharper as an attacking entity than Aston Villa do.
Yeah, they certainly do. And it was Jackson there. He made a run. He'd gone too soon almost for the ball, and then he should have put the brakes on and just backpedaled a little bit, then gone again, I think, you know. Just carried on his run, and it just flattened out the attack. But you're right in what you're saying. They look very confident in their play. Best I've seen them this year, without a doubt.
Yeah, it was a clever backheel flick round the corner from Jackson, then Chilwell working it through the middle, and they get a free kick as Enzo Fernandez is fouled by Tielemans, and this is in a really good position. 6 yards outside the penalty area, a little bit left of centre, but not much. And there'll be 2 or 3 who fancy their chances from here.
Yeah, as I say, as Enzo's pulled his leg back to have a swing at it, he's caught Tielemans, who was running behind him, and you do wonder, where was the free kick? Was it the player having a swing and kicking someone else, or not? I don't know.
So where the ball has been spotted down is actually further back than where the alleged infringement took place. Fernandez, Palmer and Madueke are the 3 that stand over it. Martinez just had his shoulder by his right-hand post, left-hand post as we look at it, and he's happy that his wall is in the right place.
Yeah, the referees have certainly learnt from Ivan Toney's moving of the free kick, and they've just done it again. I think Enzo's just moved the ball a couple of inches further forward than it should be.
Well, you need somebody in the wall just to keep an eye on it. Want to have communication with the goalkeeper, want to keep an eye with what's going on. Fernandez or Chilwell. Fernandez with his right foot is the favourite. Oh, it is sensational! And Chelsea lead 3-0. He has pinged it into the top left-hand corner. He takes his shirt off, races over to the Chelsea fans to celebrate. What a night this is. Nobody saw this coming at all. Inside an hour, they have 3 up at Aston Villa. Is this the night that Chelsea finally arrive under Pochettino?
Well, that was an absolutely superb free kick. He's gone up and down over the wall. It's gone right in the top corner. Goalkeepers took a full dive at it. I don't know whether he was nearly got a hand to it or did get a hand to it. Looking at the replay, just got fingertips to it, couldn't do anything about it though. And it's been some performance so far by Chelsea.
Out of the top draw, into the top corner. Just sublime. That is perfect. He couldn't have placed it there from 18 inches more effectively than that. It's a dream free kick. And it's a nightmare night for Aston Villa. Villa 0, Chelsea 3, with 9 minutes gone in the second half.
Well, I think if Pochettino was scratching his head after the Wolverhampton defeat, he'll be scratching his head even more for differing reasons after this performance so far.
It is, of course, not even an hour of football. But it just feels as though coming into this game, which many regarded as a crossroads, with everything that had happened over the last week, and the big defeat at Liverpool and the 4-2 loss from 1-0 up against Wolves, it felt as though this might be a defining moment. And if it is to be a defining moment for Pochettino's reign, then it can only be that the corner has turned. This against an Aston Villa side who've only lost twice here all season. And Chelsea are in the process of blowing them away. Now, Tom Bramall is just going across to have a word with Chilwell and Bailey, who just got involved with each other for a moment. It's a placatory gesture from the referee, calms things down, and play goes on. 3-0 Chelsea, with 10 minutes gone in the second half, here on Talksport, Stuart.
Yeah, just looking at the referee going over there to calm that niggle down between Chilwell and Bailey. give it 30 years ago, the officials used to come over and incite contact between winger and fullback.
That's your excuse?
Exactly that.
Yeah. What did they do? Said, go on, kick him harder. What are you pretending they said to you? Here's Bailey getting it through. Kamara inside the area. It was very well shepherded, actually. He just ran out of room as Enzo came back and lent into him. And the ball goes through for Petrovic away to our right-hand side.
It's interesting when we bump into people and say this is the worst performance Villa have put on this season, when they're on the back of 19 victories. That isn't hard, is it? Let's be honest.
Well, they weren't great here against Sheffield United, where they couldn't find a way through. And the Blades took the lead 3 minutes from time, and then Zaniolo equalised with almost the last kick of the game, very deep in stoppage time. Been the odd display away from home that hasn't really cut the mustard, but they've just been listless and one-dimensional tonight. It has been a very strange, muted display from Emery's men. And notwithstanding the fact that they weren't great in the last home game here against Newcastle, which they lost 3-1, but if that set a low bar, they've crashed underneath it this evening. But they do have a free kick here. Again, and Matty Cash standing over this. The Chelsea fans taunting their Aston Villa counterparts with, just like London, your city is blue. Hasn't gone down very well. Free kick on the right-hand side of the box then for Villa, and it's 15 outside the penalty area, and the referee is again just asking for a delay as Fernandez and Douglas Luiz are spoken to. Now Palmer comes across to have a word. Can Villa get themselves back into the game? Cash standing with his right arm above his head, but it doesn't look favourite, and it is going to be McGinn to take it. Left-footed in, swinger, and it's headed over the bar by Diego Carlos.
Yeah, as I say, decent ball in, good in, swinging ball in there, but just got too much elevation on the ball and on the finish.
So what have you made of Chelsea's defensive performance tonight? So much has been written and spoken about of the 4 goals that they've conceded in each of the last 2 games. No Thiago Silva this evening. Has that made a positive difference, or is this better defensive performance just a factor of a better performance all round? I'll get your views on that in a moment. As Madueke inside the penalty area gets it onto his left foot, it's deflected, spins wide for a corner.
I think the answer to your question is, I think early in the game, and we can't lose sight of this, I think Villa were a little bit wasteful, not just their finishing, Jim, but in their set-up play inside the box, where they could have played a teammate in for a more clinical finish, and they didn't get that right. And the longer the game's gone on, they looked at a couple of shaky moments in the back line of Chelsea, but the longer the game's gone on, they've really had nothing defensively to test them in many ways. You know, they've dominated the ball, they've not been under pressure and not been asked to make decisions at full throttle.
Chilwell taking this latest Chelsea corner, which is headed away by Moreno. Out as far as Caicedo. And he's still to his right for Gusto. Gusto down towards on Madueke. And it's gone out of play for what has been given as an Aston Villa throw, which Moreno's taken quickly. Madueke felt as though Moreno helped him to the ground there. The referee's assistant couldn't have been better placed and said no. And then Douglas Luiz is fouled by Palmer. And it's a free kick that will be taken by Villa midway inside their own half. We played exactly an hour. They need 3 in half an hour, Villa, to take this to extra time. Not too many signs of the first one coming, let alone goals 2 and 3. Kamara steering it through the midfield, but it's won back well by Jackson. Jackson and Madueke. Palmer made a darting run, got himself back onside. Madueke ran out of room and lost his balance, and Douglas Luiz will now be able to bring it forward and find McGinn, and the Brazilians continued his run. 2 Chelsea players go over there. Gusto's done really well. In the blink of an eye, got himself between Douglas Luiz and the ball, and can shepherd it over the line and out of play for a Chelsea throw. 3-0 to the Blues.
Yeah, they've looked so comfortable in this game. As I say, probably take maybe the first 15-20 minutes out of the equation, and certainly Chelsea, where it was give and take, to be quite honest with you, in the game. Since then, Chelsea have vastly dominated this game.
Remember Aston Villa's dreadful FA Cup record. They win at Middlesbrough in the last round, the first victory they'd had in this competition since 2016. And although it's not the now customary third round exit, it looks for all the world as though it's going to be a fourth round elimination tonight. Longley getting it forward, but has pinged it straight at Madueke, who's had a really good game, and arguably his best in a Chelsea shirt.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think he's been Chelsea's standout player, I really do.
Zassi for Gusto and back again. Now back to the goalkeeper, Petrovic. Long time since Chelsea fans felt able to give it the ole against top-flight opposition. Gallagher out towards the right-hand side. Palmer playing it back for Gusto. Gusto chipping it over the top. Going to be chased here by Jackson. Well, Carlos is there first. He's come off his knee and goes straight out of play for a throw. Going to be taken on the Chelsea right-hand side. And you think back to the comments that were made about Chelsea's performance when Wolves scored their equalising goal the other day, and the way that Chelsea retracted into their shell, and you never sensed that they were going to be able to get back into the game. Well, we're seeing exactly the same here from Villa.
Yeah, you certainly do. I mean, Chelsea have just risen, you know, with confidence in this game. Every player wants the ball, every player's comfortable on the ball, the movement's good, the interchange is good. As I say, from Villa's point of view, they just look as though they don't know how to break Chelsea down. And I remember that game against Brighton that you spoke about earlier. I think we covered that one on Talksport, and they pressed very, very aggressively then, you know. But I've got to give Chelsea a lot of credit. You know, they've manipulated the ball really well, made it difficult to get the ball off them.
Yeah, 6-1 that one finished in Villa's favour. But they're 3-0 down here. What at the moment will be their biggest home defeat of the season. They've got a free kick which will be taken over on the far side. Their bench, incidentally, the Villa bench, in terms of attacking options, Diaby and Zaniolo. Ramsey as an attacking midfielder might be called upon. And they've got the young Northern Ireland youth international Mari Kellyman, who's there as well. What can they create from this free kick? Hit in from the left-hand touchline towards the edge of the penalty area. Bounces once, it's going to be knocked away by Gusto and goes out of play for a throw. Longley's gone down, is holding his head inside the penalty area. And the referee has just asked for a brief hiatus here so that Longley can be attended to. We played 19 minutes of the second half and it remains 3-0 to Chelsea. And so much to discuss on the sports bar tonight. You can have your say on national radio. Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy will bring you reaction from both managers, from the headline makers as well here. Chelsea fans, where's this performance been? Villa fans, how concerned are you from a performance that no one really saw coming? How much of it concern is it? How much of a loss has Ezri Konsa been to injury? How much will that affect your club over the next month? 03717 223344 is the number. O'Hara and Cundy opening the sports bar at 10 o'clock tonight. Douglas Luiz getting it forward here for Villa. Watkins able to turn on the edge of the box. The angle's tight. Can he win a corner? He's sensed that maybe he got the last touch there, so he's recycled it, played it back for Bailey. Bailey into a shooting position. Doesn't shoot, finds McGinn instead. Good turn from him. He can shoot. Petrovic had it covered, and it's gone wide by about a yard. McGinn thinks it deflected, but it's a goal kick.
I think McGinn's livid. I think he felt as though he was fouled as he's hit the ball, and I think he was as well, actually. He's pulled on the backswing. Yeah, he was fouled right, literally, on the line of the box as he got his finish away by Casado.
Well, the VAR will have had a look at that and must have decided, on the basis that Petrovic is about to take the goal kick immediately, must have decided that the challenge was outside the penalty area and therefore is out with the VAR remit. As soon as they see it's outside the penalty area, it doesn't matter whether it's a foul or not. Petrovic eventually took the goal kick, but he wasn't happy, the referee, I think, because he felt that Villa players were encroaching inside the box, trying to press a little bit too quickly. Now Tielemans will lead the press as the goal kick is taken to the left for Badiashile. Kamara winning the second ball in the midfield for the Villa. McGinn And now Diego Carlos, Matty Cash, Bailey making a run down the Aston Villa right, and Cash flicks it down to him. He's level with the edge of the penalty area. Back he comes to Boubacar Kamara again. Chelsea with everybody behind the ball for a moment, and Chelsea with a 3-goal lead as we approach the midway stage of the second half, with a sublime free kick from Enzo Fernandez, adding to the goals in the first half from Gallagher and Jackson. Villa ping a long ball out towards the right hand side, looking for Bailey. It's headed away by Chilwell, and will go out of play for an Aston Villa throw. Chelsea, remember, back in action next Monday night. They're at Palace. It's a game that's live and exclusive to Talksport. Our next live football comes from Hillsborough, a relegation battle in the Championship between Sheffield Wednesday and Birmingham, and it's live on Talksport 2 from 8 o'clock on Friday. Villa give it away again. Fernandez to Palmer. Madueke often the out ball, and he will get it, and he will run. And he will run at Longley, who backs off, and then he flicks it to his left for Gallagher. Gallagher works it out towards the Chelsea right-hand side. Gustav making a run on the overlap. Palmer doesn't use him, at least initially, and then will turn and will just tiptoe back out towards the right-hand touchline again. Villa have got everybody back and keeping quite a deep line for a moment. They've turned possession over. Watkins winning it back. Sprinted forward. McGinn knew that he was making the run. Didn't fancy his chance of being able to get it over the top of the Chelsea back line to find him. And then he's lost possession. Chelsea have it back and will build from halfway with Gallagher. 3-0 to Chelsea. And a goal late on in the African Cup of Nations semi-final. Ivory Coast against the DR Congo, Jeff.
Ivory Coast are leading by 1-0. Sebastian Haller, once of West Ham. Ball came in from the right-hand side. It was a hook shot from Haller. Not sure he hit it cleanly. Into the ground, over the goalkeeper. And the tournament hosts are in front. Ivory Coast 1, DR Congo 0.
Jeff, thank you. Big goal in the Premiership as well. Hibs have equalised at home to Celtic. Dylan Levitt has scored that. It's 1-1, so Celtic will be a point clear at the end of the night. If it stays that way, Rangers would have a game in hand. Villa trying to bring it forward here. Bailey making what looked like a tired run, and it was easy for Badia Shield to slide in and knock it away. Elsewhere in the Premiership tonight, Hearts still lead at St Johnstone with Lawrence Shankland, their top scorer. His 22nd goal of the season as they look for a 6th straight win. It's 0-0 at Kilmarnock and 0-0 at St Mirren. Villa on the back foot. Chelsea have it with Madueke. Madueke out on the right-hand touchline, laying the ball back. And they're just toying with Aston Villa at the moment now. Back for Badia Shield. Badia Shield has slowed it down to almost a standstill. Worked it forward towards Caicedo. Douglas Luiz was in on him very strongly. Villa have got an out ball on the right-hand side, and it's Bailey. Diaby's going to be coming on in a moment. What will the score be when he comes on? Bailey driving forward, ran down a cul-de-sac, has pulled it back for Tielemans. His effort is blocked. He'll have another opportunity to find Bailey. Bailey laying it back for Kamara on the edge of the box. Gallagher snaps into a challenge. Chipped over the top by Douglas Luiz. Tielemans has it again. Trying to poke it around the corner of Chilwell. Well, the England fullback can easily knock it away. And Villa just beating their head against the brick wall at the moment, not really seeming to have too much idea of how they can get themselves back into this game.
No, and I think it was Tielemans who just toe-poked the ball, attempting to go behind.
Here's Cash. He can drag it across, and McGinn coming onto it. It was a shot from him that was blocked by Disassi, a really good block on the edge of the 6-yard box. Chelsea then make a mess of getting it away and end up conceding a very cheap corner.
Yeah, exactly. And that's something they can't do, because it won't take much encouragement. You think the game's dead, you think it's 3-0, but you drop off with still a good 20-odd minutes to go.
So Diaby and Ramsey will be a Villa double change in a moment. We're in the final 20 minutes. Chelsea lead it 3-0. And it's going to be an Aston Villa corner from the right. Hitting very deep and straight into the hands of Petrovic, who was just given a little knock once he caught the ball. Oh, he's quite an unflappable character, the Serbian international that signed from New England Revolution. He's got a free kick. The changes will be made. First man off, Tielemans. He's going to be replaced by Ramsey. And the second player off is McGinn, and Diaby's on for him.
Yeah, as I say, they need some sort of inspiration at this moment in time. 2 Villa players, I think Raheem Sterling's been called back to the bench, whether he'll be coming on shortly as well.
What do you make of the performances tonight of McGinn and Tielemans?
I thought McGinn played very well, started the game really well, and was instrumental in Villa probing down this near side to us on their left-hand side, but the longer the game has gone on, he sort of faded out slightly with most of the Villa players. Tielemans, I've been a bit disappointed with it, if I'm being honest with you, from sort of start to finish, Jim.
Kamara, Gallagher stretches out a right leg and wins it back. And Unai Emery probably having a look at the clock, which shows there are 18 minutes of normal time to go. A 3-0 deficit. He's probably looking ahead to the game against Manchester United, which is a huge one, quite clearly, coming up at the weekend. Here's Watkins on the right-hand side of the penalty area. Cash making a lung-busting run to his right-hand side. Still Watkins has got it. Now he'll run in the penalty area, and still he goes, Ollie Watkins. Chelsea defending mob-handedly, but ultimately effectively. And Chilwell will bring it forward and then clip a left-footed ball towards halfway. You can't find Palmer, who's the only out ball. And Carlos will bring it back. From him to his left-hand side for the recently arrived Ramsey. And the local lad gets it back again, bottom left-hand corner of the penalty area. Now to Moreno. 3-0 Chelsea lead. Villa with more possession now than at any previous stage, but you'd expect that, byproduct of the scoreline. Kamara back to Carlos again. Threaded through towards Watkins. Badia Shield with a strong challenge. Watkins visibly furious that he didn't get a free kick. Petrovic has to scamper to the left-hand side of his 6-yard box and try and get the ball away, and Watkins closed him down superbly. It was a really poor back pass. Came on Petrovic's wrong side. He had to chase after a stop it going out of play for a corner. Watkins bearing down on him so quickly that Chelsea just about get away with it.
Yeah, he does. Watkins brilliant then. Just what Villa need at the moment.
Now another sliding challenge inside the penalty area. Cross comes in. Left-footed effort. Missed hit completely by Diaby. And it goes almost as close to the corner flag as the goal. Chelsea will make a change. Madueke off, Sterling coming on.
Yeah, another sort of unclinical finish in the box from Villa. And just, admittedly, Enzo's got out and put some pressure on the ball, but skewed it badly.
Not a huge amount of jeopardy here at the moment. If it's jeopardy you're after on an FA Cup night, let me suggest you retune to Talksport 2, because they're in the 89th minute at the City Ground. Forest 1, Bristol City 1, so extra time and penalties on the agenda there potentially. The winners of that, home to Manchester United. Winners of this one, at home to Leeds. Elsewhere, Coventry, Maidstone, Bournemouth, Leicester, Blackburn, Newcastle, Man City go to Luton, Wolves, Brighton, Liverpool against the Southampton side who are unbeaten in 24. All of those games taking place Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 26th, 27th, 28th of February, and we've got it all covered for you on the Talksport network. Kamara fouled, free kick to Villa, 10 yards inside their own half. Raheem Sterling coming on for the final 15 minutes or so. A player's got a good record in the FA Cup. He's got a couple of goals in the final back in 2019 as Man City thrashed Watford. Here's Douglas Luiz. Forward towards Diaby. Sterling with his arms around Diaby's shoulders for a moment. The ball played in by Cash. Bailey couldn't get himself into a shooting position. Diaby will get there first. Cash digs his foot underneath it, steers it towards the far post, where a header from Moreno goes onto the roof of the net. He should have done better. That might have been a way back into the game there for Villa, but they've spurned it.
Yeah, they certainly have. There was an overload at the far post. It was almost 3-on-2, and it's looped to him, and he should have done better than that. Whether Gusto coming and backing into him has just put him off slightly, I don't know.
All he had to do really was get it under the bar and have scored. Petrovic is going to get a yellow card here, and that's for time wasting. The first Chelsea player booked. And Georgia Petrovic spots the ball down. 15 to go. Villa 0, Chelsea 3. Late goal for Kilmarnock's Marley Watkins at home to Livingston. Livingston who haven't won in 16 league games, a run that's 4 months old today. And they're a goal down at Rugby Park late in that game. Marley Watkins, 8th of the season for Killy, who are in the top 4. And they're going to win again by the look of it. Here's Ramsey. Long lay behind him. Ramsey checks back and then plays it out towards the left-hand side for Moreno. Moreno attacking the edge of the penalty area. Comes inside. He didn't fancy it on his right foot. Laid it off for Douglas Luiz. Kamara. 13 minutes plus stoppage time for Villa to score 3. Chelsea's lead comfortable still, despite increasing Aston Villa possession and pressure. Diaby gets to the byline, ships it across. Good defensive header, gets it away. Longley feathering the ball into the path of Douglas Luiz. He will take it forward towards the edge of the penalty area. Ramsey makes a run to his left. Back it goes for the Brazilian. On the edge of the penalty area, Bailey threading it through, but ultimately he just passed it to Disasi. And the Hold end can't hide their frustration. Chelsea bring it away. Tumble off the ball there involving Jackson. He's back on his feet by the time he's played in. And he's running now the Aston Villa penalty area. And still Jackson's got it. He's inside the box. 4 Villa players around him. Gets it back for Palmer, who puts his left foot through it. It hit one of the Villa players. That took the sting out of it, and Martinez stops it going out of play for a corner. 3-0 to Chelsea. 12 minutes to go.
Yeah, arguably, certainly this half of the pitch, Villa's strongest moment in the second half.
Well, the boos and whistles are for Caicedo, because he's gone down. The referee didn't want to stop play. It wasn't a head injury. The referee more than entitled to allow play to continue. Now Chelsea put the ball out of play and Caicedo goes down again. Meantime, Pochettino stands with his left arm around the shoulder of Thiago Silva, and it's just giving the veteran Brazilian some instruction ahead of the 876th appearance of his career for club and country. He'll be on in a moment. And Thiago Silva with 12 minutes. It'll be interesting to see whether Chelsea change the shape here or whether they're still going to make the original substitution as planned, bearing in mind that Caicedo is down receiving treatment.
Yeah, Caicedo looks as though he'll play no part in this game, potentially, the way he went down. Looking like a groin problem, I think, by my diagnosis from about 80 metres, Jim.
Thanks, Dr. Pearce. Good work.
You're more than welcome.
You're taking commissions, are you? Can we get hold of you on 111 NHS Direct?
Actually, I'm dealing with Adrian's flat feet as we speak as well, you know what I mean?
Oh, good luck with that.
Not exactly.
Not enough money in the world.
That kept him out the Army Bowl accounts, you know, like Norman Stanley Fletcher.
3-0 to Chelsea here. Incidentally, it was a nice moment whilst nothing's going on. A nice moment earlier. Ian Lavender, who we lost this week, a big Villa fan, big Warwickshire cricket fan as well, and they played the Dad's Army music in the hour leading up to the game here. The last surviving member of the Dad's Army cast, who was a regular here, and nice that his club paying tribute to him before the game started. Our thoughts with his family and friends.
I think he's the last surviving member, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Which is very, very sad, especially when you grew up with that programme, Jim.
Well, Chelsea are going to make now a double change. So Caicedo coming off, and Nkunku's going to replace him, so they'll put Palmer back in the midfield. Thiago Silva is coming out. They'll put Palmer back in the midfield until they put Palmer's number up here, because Thiago Silva's going to come on to replace him. Nkunku has now been told to sit back down again. So his number did come up. And now he's putting his tracksuit top back on. I don't think any of the officials really know what's happening here. Palmer makes his way slowly over towards this near touchline, and Silva comes on, and it looks as though they reckon the running repairs on Caicedo are good enough. He's going to be able to continue.
Oh, the way he went down holding his groin, that looked surprised me slightly.
24 Palmer, 25 versus Caicedo, replacement number 6
Tannoy has just announced that Caicedo has come off, which is news to Caicedo himself, because he's just waiting for permission from Anthony Taylor to come back on. So at the most, just the one change. Thiago Silva is the player that has come on, and he's replaced Cole Palmer. And Caicedo still waiting for permission. We'll be back on in a moment. That all took about 3 minutes, so probably, I would guess, 5 or 6 minutes of stoppage time to be played. 8 minutes until we find out. But Aston Villa are approaching needing a miracle. And here's Caicedo, who's back on and back in possession. Amazing what restorative powers you get for 115 million quid, isn't it? Here's Chilwell, back for Enzo Fernandez. And Fernandez inside his own half, Disasi, and towards the Chelsea right-hand side. Raheem Sterling's got it now. The Chelsea fans already going to Wembley once, but the singing of an FA Cup return. Remember, if they can get there, it'll be a 6th FA Cup final in 8 seasons, which would be an extraordinary achievement. Bailey trying to roll the ball forward. Thiago Silva mops that up on the edge of his own penalty area, plays it down towards Chilwell. Now Chilwell will turn it to his right-hand side for Conor Gallagher. Back for the goalkeeper again. Saturday game day exclusive comes from the Etihad. Manchester City can go top of the Premier League by beating Everton. The build-up starting in 11 ahead of a 12:30 kickoff here on Talksport. As Nicholas Jackson tackled himself and fell over the ball on the near touchline. It's gone out of play for a throw that'll be taken by the Villa. 7.5 to go. 3-0 Chelsea. Yeah, I think the resurgence that Villa started to show around the 70-odd minute mark has been nullified by the stoppages and starts in this game at the moment, and Chelsea have just seen out that bit of pressure from Villa. The Hearts have been able to consolidate third place in Scotland tonight. They won at St Johnstone 1-0. Kilmarnock likewise consolidating fourth with a 1-0 win over Livingston. Still 1-1 between Hibs and Celtic, which would put everything in Rangers' hands. And Celtic would have a point lead at the top of the Premiership, having played an extra game, if it stays that way. There's 11 minutes to go at Easter Road, and a little bit longer, 21 minutes to go in Paisley, 0-0 in the delay game between St Mirren and Dundee. This one 3-0 to Chelsea. They've gone to extra time at the City Ground. It's only 1-1 between Forest and Bristol City, both the goals in the opening 15 minutes there, and it is live for you on Talksport 2. If you've got the Talksport app, you can easily flick left, flick right, and keep abreast of all of the action in both games. But that one is going to extra time and potentially penalties. The winners of that at home to Manchester United. Winners of that, this one at home to Leeds, and to racing certainty to be Chelsea, you would think, as we go into the 85th minute. 3-0, and it'll be played towards Douglas Luiz for Villa. We've had very few poor nights at Villa Park over the last 15-16 months or so, but this is one. Here's Bailey, right-hand side of the penalty area. Oh, just set up and hit the hand of Gallagher, and certainly in a natural position. And Gallagher wins it back, and a beautiful turn on his own dead ball line, flanks the ball forward. Jackson can't hold it up. Villa winning it again. Bailey's got it. Bailey on the right-hand side of the box, trying a little trick and a step over, and then he gets it inside the penalty area. It's volleyed clear, and another Chelsea player goes down, and immediately Badiashile indicated over to the bench that his race was run and that Chelsea were going to have to make another change. Yeah, that injury from Badiashile come about 30 seconds earlier. He burst into the opposition's half, pressing Bailey, I think it was, potentially, and just pulled up and just nursed his groin, I think, at the time. Another diagnosis free of charge. You're more than welcome. Well, I thought the diagnosis was going to be that injury came, and Badiashile 30 seconds ago, he burst. That, which would be some injury. Yeah, indeed. But thankfully it's not quite as bad as that. Chelsea medical staff are coming on. Villa are going to make another change. I think Zaniolo is going to be coming on, and Kunku is going to be coming on for Chelsea, and Alfie Gilchrist as well. Gilchrist, who's actually started the 2 previous FA Cup ties in this run, the 2 senior starts of his Chelsea career. He's going to be coming on and getting a few minutes here for what will be his 9th senior appearance he will replace Badia Shield. Alan Kunku's going to be coming on for Jackson, maybe, you'd think, but we'll find out in a moment. Kunku just standing next to Anthony Taylor, wearing a black hat to protect himself against the cold Birmingham night, and it is indeed going to be Nkunku for Jackson. Gilchrist, the player they got high hopes for. They're just 20, can play at centre half, but we've ordinarily seen him at full-back in his brief Chelsea career so far. But I think ultimately he's going to end up being a centre half. Villa's change is going to be a double change. Irabunum is getting some final instructions from Unai Emery. So he's going to come on into the centre of midfield and replace Kamara. I think Douglas Luiz thought he was coming off. He raced over towards this near touchline thinking his number was coming up. Didn't see the 6, he saw 44. So Irabunum is on. And Zaniolo is coming on to replace Bailey. And Douglas Luiz is told that his night isn't up yet and he's got to go and get back on with it again. He was willing the number 6 to come up on that board, wasn't he?
It was like bingo, you know, when you're waiting for one more number, Jim, you know. He come over and he was most put out the fact that he weren't being taken off.
Yeah. He was absolutely desperate to see it. Not forthcoming. Villa with a throw. The last 10 minutes has been extraordinarily stagnated. And that, of course, all works in Chelsea's favour. Just in a position to try and see things out. Irabunum has won the ball back after initially losing it. And then Zaniolo is pulled and then gets a right handful of Gallagher's shirt and tries to ragdoll him to the ground. The initial free kick was Villa's, and they've taken it. And Douglas Luiz has got it. 2 minutes to go. But it could easily now be 7 minutes of stoppage time, you'd think, maybe even more than that. The equation remains the same. Villa needing 3. The time fast running out. It's 3 to get it to extra time. High ball is too high down towards this near touchline. Cash off balance jumped up for it and couldn't keep it in. It's a Chelsea throw. And it's a job well done by Maurizio Pochettino and his men tonight.
It certainly is. I mean, aside from what they're doing in the league at the moment, the Carabao Cup final in 3 weeks' time, something to look forward to. The next round of the Cup, a home draw against Leeds, won't be easy. It'll be a great occasion, that is for sure, but shouldn't be a tie that they worry about in many ways.
Yeah, it'll be a belting game. It won't be anything like the 1972 FA Cup final or its replay, but it will still be a hugely engaging spectacle.
1970.
Correct. I'm glad you were listening. I was just checking.
Thanks, mate. My hero, the person, alongside Gordon Banks, David Webb was another one of my footballing icons who scored the winner, I think, at Old Trafford.
Yeah. Well, I told you it wouldn't be anything like the 1972 FA Cup final, and that's because it hasn't got the same teams in it.
No, that was Leeds and Arsenal. Diving header Sniffer Clark, I think.
It's Aston Villa. I'm going to stop digging myself out that hole.
Exactly. Ask me what I had for breakfast this morning, not a clue.
It's like water going into the bucket, isn't it? You can all the knowledge is there at the bottom of the bucket, so you're fine. But you put extra drops in the top of the bucket, they spill over.
Yeah.
You can't remember anything. Douglas Luiz, but first Punk single. New Rose by the Damned. Left-hand side of the penalty area. Villa have got it. They're working inside the box and will get a corner. Should be taken over on the far side. And we're about to go into stoppage time. Douglas Luiz might see his beloved number 6 come up now. It's only 4. They've taken pity on them. I think that that's probably been agreed between the two sets of officials. 4 will do. Cash with a shot from the edge of the penalty area from the corner, which was worked short. Little reverse ball. Ramsey playing it back. Zaniolo letting it run. Left-footed effort from Diaby off the inside of the post and in. And Villa, at the very least, maintain their record of scoring in every home game since Unai Emery came to the club. Surely nothing more than a consolation. Diaby pinging one in from the edge of the penalty area. And it's 1-3.
Well, I've got to say, I think he sort of semi-missed it. I don't know whether I'm doing him an injustice here, but he sort of pulled it across the face of his body. No, let me give him some credit. He's pulled it across the face of his body really well, through bodies right into the corner. And this probably could have come with about 10 minutes ago, and we could have had an interesting finish.
That's only his second goal in 14 games in all competitions. He netted against Burnley in that run, but adds to it tonight. Villa 1, Chelsea 3. Now in the second minute of the 4 added on. Chelsea on the front foot again. Sterling. Conor Gallagher checks back outside the area. Right-footed effort from him. It was really well worked. Martinez got down, was able to make a relatively comfortable save. And then Gallagher chips the ball over Martinez and hits the bar, but only after the referee has given a free kick Villa's way, just outside the box. The 4 additional minutes, that's bizarre.
Yeah, I mean, we've had God knows how many subs. There's been so many, it's been ridiculous. We've had injuries, players lying down and getting treatment. It is very bizarre.
It did smack of a decision, really. Diaby chasing left-hand side of the penalty area. Clipped inside the penalty area. Matty Cash with a right-footed effort, and that one's headed away from in front of Petrovic. Out of play for a corner. It smacked as though not a plea bargain between the two sets of coaching staff and the officials, but maybe said, let's add on 8 minutes. No, 4 will do. Now Villa need them all. Cash with the ball inside the penalty area from the corner. Back out towards Moreno. High ball in from him. Irabunum with a header, and Petrovic picks it up. And that should have gone in as well, but he's headed it straight at the keeper.
Well, they've probably had more efforts, Jim, in this last 5 minutes than they have the whole of the half, Aston Villa.
They're in stoppage time in the AFCON semi-final. And Ivory Coast lead DR Congo by 1-0. They're nearly there for the final against Nigeria, who saw off South Africa's challenge earlier. Brilliant control from Nkunku as a high ball is played forward, and he's turned it back for Gallagher. Down towards Nkunku again. Left-hand side of the penalty area. It's Villa 1, Chelsea 3. Only about a minute or so to go. Caicedo. Back for Chilwell. Nkunku, another delicious touch around the corner for Gallagher. He lost out to Irabunum. Gallagher has it again. Now Chilwell. Gallagher's kept it in. Caicedo. Irabunum wins it back. Douglas Luiz loses out to Chilwell. And Nkunku gets it. Edge of the penalty area. Good reverse ball in. Caicedo. Goalkeeper did well. He committed himself. He was going down, but he stuck a hand up and was able to stop the chip going over him. Gallagher down by the corner flag. In the closing seconds, Gallagher in the corner quadrant brilliantly finds Caicedo, and then Chilwell wins the corner off Cash. And Chelsea will be able to run the remaining seconds off the clock. High fives all around from the Chelsea players now. They know they've got the job done. 3-1 up with no time to go.
Yeah, they certainly do. And as I say, it's been a good evening's work for Chelsea Football Club, that's for sure. Marching on into the next round. Irrelevant to the Premier League full.
Enzo Fernandez has the last touch of the night, and he turns, pumps his fist, bellows up to the heavens. This feels like a big win for Chelsea. Away to a side in the top 4 of the Premier League. That's something they haven't been able to do on a consistent basis for the last 18 months or so. So much pressure on them and their manager and the coaching staff coming into the game. Now, one swallow doesn't make a summer. That goes without saying. But this is Chelsea's best performance for many, many months. A 3-1 win at Aston Villa. Leeds at home in round 5. Aston Villa's FA Cup hoodoo continues. They'll wonder where that performance had come from. And the Chelsea fans on their way home with big smiles on their faces will be wondering where theirs had come from as well. Villa 1, Chelsea 3.
So Chelsea make it through to the 5th round. That tie at home to Leeds. Mauricio Pochettino very, very happy. He's got cameras around him as he heads towards the tunnel. He's telling the cameras to go to the players because they deserve the credit. As he disappears, hugs one of his coaching staff, heads down the tunnel. Unai Emery's long since gone down there. And the Chelsea players make their way over to their fans on the far side. And you can hear the roar. They just love it when their team plays well. They've not seen enough of that this season. Ben Chilwell punching the air, applauding the fans, the captain tonight, as Chelsea make it through with as good a performance as I've seen from Chelsea this season. You could talk about the 4-4 draw with Man City. It was a brilliant game. not really sure you can say it's a great performance when you're conceding 4 goals at home, but that debate may rumble on. Sports bars coming up, 03717 22 33 44. Chelsea's next Premier League game is Monday night at Injury Hit, Crystal Palace. It's live and exclusive on Game Night on Talksport. And for now, Stuart Pearce, the crisis is over. What a performance from Chelsea.
Crisis over till the next crisis, eh? Excellent. Great performance. Got to say, that's the best I've seen them play consistently over 90 minutes this season. Really solid performance. Some good cutting-edge play. Clinical finishing amongst that as well. And listen, they've done very little wrong in the cup competitions. It's the league situation that's really has been the onus around their neck in many ways. But listen, cup final coming up in a couple of weeks, decent draw in the FA Cup, and well, they just need to brush up in what's going on in the Premier League.
Another penalty for Celtic in the 92nd minute, and Adam Ida's converted again, his second of the night. Hibs 1, Celtic 2, still playing there in the Scottish Premiership as the Chelsea players applaud not just the fans on the far side, the fans to the left of us in the upper tier, filling that upper tier as well. And Nkunku goes off, showed some glimpses when he came on towards the end. Chilwell, Conor Gallagher with that lovely side-footed finish early on. And Enzo Fernandez, an interesting one. Enzo Fernandez hit a beautiful free kick. The World Cup winning midfielder beating the World Cup winning goalkeeper, his Argentina teammate. Top corner strike, magnificent. He's given his shirt away. This is really interesting, Stuart, because there was a big celebration after the goal from Enzo. He took off his shirt in front of the Chelsea fans, pointed at it, pointed to the ground as if to say, I'm staying here, amid stories about him wanting to leave, stories that he has come out and denied. So it meant a lot to him, not just to score a brilliant goal, because it was a superb free kick, but to score a goal and to show the Chelsea fans, I'm committed to this club.
Well, it was an outstanding free kick, no doubt about that. And as you say, went straight over to the Chelsea fans, pulled the shirt off, held it up and said, I'm here, I'm staying. So, well, credit to him, but certainly some goal, weren't it?
Well, to beat Martinez from that range, and he got a hand to it, but he couldn't get a strong hand to it. It was that well placed in the top corner.
Yeah, it was a super free kick, really was a great free kick, and it rounded up Chelsea scoring for the evening and made their night that little bit more comfortable.
It did. So Chelsea home to Leeds. You were talking about that 1970 Cup final, you and Jim. It was one of the filthiest finals I think I've ever seen in terms of the fouls, but also the replay was played out on a mud heap at Old Trafford, if you recall.
Yeah, in fact, both were. I think they had the Horse of the Year show on at Wembley a few days before, and
can you imagine?
Eddie Gray tortured Dave Webb in the fullback position, from what I can gather.
Listen, great memories from the FA Cup, and they're going to make some more because Chelsea and Leeds will play in the 5th round. All the 5th round ties will be midweek nights under the lights in the week of 26th and 27th of February. Chelsea make it through. 3-1 winners here live on Talksport. It's all over in the AFCON semi-final. Jeff Peters.